called me and emailed me, and even wrote letters. He said, listen, we have a big problem with no voter ID. There's no way to know who's voting. And we have a problem with the ballots. All these mail-in ballots are going in, you don't know who's mailing back and who's picking them up. So we streamlined the entire Caucus system. The Caucus now allows you to, if any of you have families and you're busy, so you can actually say, we have this as a Caucus site. You can come in, you show your ID, you can get your ballot, you can fill it out, walk up, you can drop right in the slot, and you can leave. That's how fast it can be. If you want to stay involved and you'd like to go to the state convention and become a delegate, then you stick around and you caucus. And what that means is pretty much you just want to be able to get in your primary, your precinct, and you want to nominate yourself to run and be elected to go up to state. But that will all be explained by the person in charge of the caucus site here. But when you get down to it, it's no different than us sitting like we are today. We're neighbors. Your caucus site will come out of your precincts. Your precincts will then gather together. And that precinct for all of us, that's where we all live in an area. Mine's divided in, I got 3 of them in my area. And it's the neighbors all get together. Usually vote at a certain high school. And that's how they divided it up. This time we'll be able to do different. This time we're going to have it where, for us to Jim Marchand's in the house, hey buddy. For us, it'd be real easy for you to come in. But what we've done is we've made it easy for everybody to get involved and get out. The biggest problem we've had right now throughout the entire United States is there's no voter ID, no mail-in ballots, right? Because what happened last time, Joe Lombardo, our governor, put a bill in last legislative session. When he was running, I kept telling him, this is the biggest problem, this is with the grassroots, this is with the neighbors, this is the Republican Party has a problem with. Anybody's going to get a ballot. And we had a reporter from the RJ that filled out, I think, 9 or 10 ballots, and 8 of them were accepted. How many was it, Jim? Where did he go? He leave?
He's outside.
He left already. So, anyway, so when Jim was running for Secretary of State, he was really on this. And, Nikki and Mary, we have a lot of them that are here involved. It would be great today. But you want to remember this. Don't make it more difficult than it is. The biggest problem we have right now is that we have so-called Republicans that are basically putting it down. Putting down and saying that they don't like it. The Democrats, when something's voted on, the Democrats come forward, they move the ballot forward. They move the issue forward. They move the message forward. Republicans like to sit and throw bombs at each other for their own selfish reasons. We have a guy that works as a blogger, always attacking the party, always attacking the grassroots, which is all of you. In one ear and out the other, guys. Ignore the noise, finish the mission. That's been so much of it. So the main thing is I'm here today to say thank you. Thank you for coming to the meeting. Thank you for the time to talk. And I'll be back and forth before now in the Caucus and other sides we have. But what we've seen under the president, whether you like Donald Trump or not, we've seen the way they've orchestrated things around to make sure that it fit their narrative. They're doing the same thing with the GOP. They're coming after us. Trump is winning by 11 points in the state of Nevada. I'm not here to 11 points. Now, I'm not talking about everybody else. I'm not putting the other candidates down. We have some great candidates on the ballot. But right now, the president's leading very highly. And him leading highly makes him the target. But it also makes all his supporters target. Know this. We're not backing up. They can take all the shots they want. We're going to keep moving forward. To make sure you have a voice, and your voices are heard, more importantly. And when we count the ballots, it'll be done right in front of you, with transparency, on paper ballots. And you have to have the voter ID to vote. So we can account for everything. And I think that's a strong message to take back America. If we do it this time, we show the state, live in the state of Nevada, it can be done by using ID and using paper ballots. So I'll let Devin get into the nuts and bolts of it. But I want to thank you, and I appreciate you letting me talk. I don't want to take too long.
Do you know yet where we're going to have, sorry to interrupt you, where we're going to have the caucus in Mesquite?
The sites, you have 2 or 3 of you know?
Virgin Valley High School is in here for Mesquite.
Okay, Virgin Valley High School is in here, and Devin will explain that. It's basically when you come in, the room's kind of divided up. It's real simple. It's something we've had. It sounds more difficult than it is. For those who've been around for a long time, Sue Loudon made me a site director back in the day. She was our state senator, and she was our national committee woman. And I was like, well, what do I do? I was a young kid. She goes, let me show you how it works. And it's very simple.
And then one more question.
Yes.
This caused confusion, this card being sent out
Yes,
in the
great,
mail?
glad you brought that up.
Yes. Could you explain why
That's
we were
awesome.
sent this and
Okay,
why
good.
this doesn't apply to us, I assume?
Absolutely.
Okay.
For those of you who are going to get a card in the mail from right there, from the Secretary of State in the state of Nevada. What happened was in 2021 session, the Democrats made it illegal to hold anything but what they said. They basically passed this in the middle of the night and said, we're only going to allow primaries, not caucuses, anymore in the state of Nevada. Okay, and what they said is, we're going to allow mail-in ballots. You don't have to have voter ID, and you can actually have same-day registration. That sounds all glorious. But when you look, exactly, that's how they're selling. But when you look at what's in Las Vegas, right? In Las Vegas, the culinary has 65,000 members. I'm not picking on the culinary. I have friends of mine that work in hospitality, call it what it is. They're the largest union in the state, okay? Don't think they can't take 30,000 members and say, okay, today you're going to register as Republican, you're going to go in and vote for McDonald for president, and then the next day go back and register to become a Democrat again. They'll play in our primaries because there are no guidelines. There's no out of balance for them. They only have Joe Biden running. No one else is running on the Democratic ticket. They made sure Kennedy had to switch parties so they couldn't run against them. So they, I wouldn't say rigged the system, but they enjoyed the system. When we come up with the caucus, we did the exact opposite. Jim Marchand helped people in Nye County put this together. Great leader out in Nye County. They came back and said, you know what, we're going to have paper ballots. You have to have voter ID. And what else, Jim? Voter ID, paper ballots. No same
Any counterfeit measures.
Yeah, no counterfeit measures. So they checked all the boxes that we were trying to protect. For many of us, when I started voting, it was just, all it was one day, you walked in, paper ballot, you picked it, boom, 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 and left. Yeah. All right? And it was easy accountable. You could see who voted when, and how it was done. So, they put out this mailer because they're promoting the primary. When we put the rules together, the Nevada Republican Party was voted on, passed by 97% at a state meeting. It basically told all the presidential candidates, that's only for the presidential candidates, by the way, that's applying to this. If you run in the primary, you cannot do the caucus. You can't do both. If you want to do the caucus, that's how you get your delegates. How we elect the president in the United States is through delegates. And it goes to a national convention. Whoever has the most delegates, that's our nominee. So, as we started to put it together, we worked with the campaigns. Some of them didn't want to work with us. Some of them wanted to basically throw roadblocks. We said, listen, on these rules, here's what's coming up. If you have any problems with it, show up to the meeting. Show up to the meeting, protest it, make changes, whatever you like, because you'll have the Senate committee right there. We had 2 campaigns show up. Donald Trump's, Vivek Ramaswamy's. They all said, no, we're good with it. We're fine with the entire thing. DeSantis didn't show up. Haley didn't show up. None of them showed up. As it went down the system even further, once we released the rules, it then went forward. And Vice President Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, and Senator Tim Scott decided they wanted to run in the primary, which showed they weren't serious candidates. They came out of the party, basically they're running for a plastic tiara. They will never get delegates. They're looking for popularity. That's all they're running for, because at the end of the day, they will get no delegates coming out of Nevada. They don't want to participate in what was set up for the Republican Party, that we have all these stop measures, that we have voter ID, no same-day registration, paper ballots, their voices be heard. They wanted to ignore that. They wanted to go with what the state Democrats have put together. So, you're going to get this in the mail. You're going to get a ballot. And I can't tell you how to vote. I haven't been telling anybody how to vote. Nye County, Clark County, I think Washoe, a lot of them are voting none of the above, or they're not voting at all.
So we can just disregard that.
You can just disregard it. If you feel you want to vote, by all means vote.
But it doesn't sound like it's a good thing for us to do that.
No, what it does right now, it's trying to push back on us. And like I said, we have the blogger that's writing about it, and then we have a newspaper columnist that's backing another candidate besides the president. And he keeps attacking, saying, oh, this is dumb, this is stupid. Well, rather than help us promote and change the system, all they're doing is carrying the water for the Democrats on what they're saying. Thank you. Listen,
I got the same postcard of this, and I went on the website, and the election commission, and I followed up on it. And why isn't Trump on the Republican list?
Because Trump will only, because you can't do both. You can either be a Democrat, you can either be in the caucus, or you can be in the primary. You can't be on both tickets.
Okay.
So we're on February 8th,
Yeah.
and Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy, Governor Chris Christie,
DeSantis.
DeSantis, and there's two more.
Bergen is dropped off now,
Bergen's
so
dropped
he
off,
won't be
sorry.
on it.
And I heard that Haley was doing the primary.
Nikki Haley's doing the primary, so it won't even matter what she does.
Yeah, I wouldn't
And
vote
so
for her
that,
anyway.
when you leave here, we're the fourth, in Nevada, I apologize, I'm throwing a lot at you. I shouldn't come back next time if I get a chance to. So there's 4 carved out states. There's New Hampshire, there's Iowa, there's Nevada, and South Carolina, in that order. So out of those 4 carved out states, we get, basically, we're the top, and everybody comes here to see us, and we're not a flyover state. That's when you start collecting the delegates, all the way down. So at the end of the day, then you go to Super Tuesday, and that's when you have all the big ones, Texas, Michigan, everybody. So when you start to get down into those, that's when you start to see who's collecting the delegates. Normally, the people that come out of here, 2016 president, he came out here, it was over, actually, Jim Marchand was running back then. It was over because everybody got together, worked together. I have dear friends of mine that were working with the senator from Florida, Marco Rubio. They basically called it force. Same thing with Senator from Texas, Ted Cruz. So we all tried to work together, and at the end of the day, all those delegates, all those that were selected, then go down to the site. Last time it was in, this year's going to be in Milwaukee. Last time it was in, where were we at? Cleveland, Ohio. And it was very humid, for those of you that do not like humidity, I'm the same way. I like the dry heat, that's what I'm here. But anyway, again, it's something where you're going to get your ballot, and please don't hesitate to call. We're going to be texting out and sending out emails, working with the state party, the county party, all county parties, on a hotline. Some of the questions you just brought up are a prime example. I'm glad you brought those up. Why isn't Trump on the ballot? Why isn't Vivek on the ballot? Why isn't Christie on the ballot? All the way down. You're only going to probably see a couple names that you don't even recognize, and Nikki Haley, and then none of the above. So, sir.
So if we want to participate in the caucus, do we have to sign up for that? What's the process to do that?
Yeah, so you're going to get all the information coming from the state party and your county party, your vice chairman and your chairman, Justin Law. And there'll be site locations. You're going to be told where your site location is. Devin mentioned what, Devin, what
So,
did you get?
because I'm a registered Republican,
Yes.
I'll be getting that info in the mail.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
And then, so if we do participate in the caucus, don't we still have to participate in the primary for everyone other than the president?
No, I'm glad you brought
Wait,
that up.
no.
This is only for the president. There's no other.
There's no other, even in the
Michael,
But that'll be
primary?
in June.
Oh,
The primary
okay.
for all our assembly,
Okay.
Senate, that's always in
Okay.
June. This is strictly, these months.
Well, since they play dirty pool, can't we do both?
I like to think we're adapting and overcoming.
Adapting and overcoming, you're darn right.
So if people make a mistake, in my opinion, and vote in the presidential preference primary, they are not then allowed to vote in the caucus.
No, they can't. They can vote
They can
twice.
vote in
You
both,
can do
which
both.
is good in
Right.
case they make a mistake.
Yeah,
There
absolutely.
you go.
The only people that can't were the presidential candidates themselves. The presidential candidates themselves could not vote, or could not be on both tickets. In other words, if you were going to do the primary, you couldn't be in the caucus. If you're in the caucus, you can't be on the ballot for the primary. And it's a way to take back and set a precedent for us that we want voter ID. We want you to stop ignoring our elected officials, our governor. They spit in his face. They spit in our face when they won't give us an ID to look and say, okay, yeah, this is Michael McDonald, here's your ballot, and go from there. So we're fighting to take back the system. Jim Marchand can talk about it. He has a long history of this. He ran for Secretary of State. He pulled out a lot of things nationally. That's been a problem, which has been pretty evident, again, in other areas.
And by the way, Jim Marchand is our speaker in January, and he's standing back here.
Is there any other questions, please? Anything you can think of whatsoever. Sir?
Just a comment, the fact that this is an interested group, and we've got questions. The general public out there
doesn't even realize there's a presidential election coming up, and it's going to be extremely confusing for them.
Very much so. And this has been an issue because the media's been covering this, and the media's been putting out a lot of lies. I mean, shocking there. But they put out a lot of lies against this caucus. And we had some of our own that call themselves conservative writers do the same thing. You know, you see the people like John Ralston, John O. Smith, and all the left-leaning writers. Anytime Senator Reid does something, or the party, the Democratic Party does something, they carry the message. We have people on our side that are throwing marbles at our feet. So they want to see, they say they want to see voter ID, but clearly they don't. We as a people have to come up, stand up and say, look, we're demanding voter ID. This is not only to secure our nominee, but this is a protest vote to show the state of Nevada this is how it can be done. And there's no reason it shouldn't be done.
Voter ID is what?
It's basically your driver's license.
It's what?
Your driver's license, your ID card. You know,
So all these migrants that are coming across in Austin and are getting an ID card, they get to vote?
no, they're not supposed to. They're not supposed to. I didn't say no. And this is what happened. So, for those who've been around for a minute in the state of Nevada, we fought Governor Sandoval back in the day, Republican governor, felt it was imperative that we give illegals driver's license. What session is that?
Driver's authorization card.
Driver's authorization card. What's that? You were up there before? Or is that before you?
I voted against it, by the way.
Jim voted against it. So we fought, along with Jim and Senator at the time, we fought with him. We said it's going to get out of control, it's going to be good, it's going to be bad. We need to fight it, we need to hold people accountable. They pushed it through. They got it. So if we were able to do it the way we're supposed to, it would show in your ID. It's supposed to be a driver's
Authorization card.
which is different from your driver's
Driver's
license.
license.
Is it a picture ID?
Yes,
It looks almost the same.
almost the same. Almost the same. No, this is something right now, we fought, I don't want to get down this, I don't know if you're out, but we fought, we turned in 122,000, right? Yep. 122,000 anomalies. That means they just didn't seem right. And our Secretary of State at the time says, oh, no, nothing to see here. She investigated 4%, and said everything's fine, nothing to see here. The Democrat media grabbed that and went, oh, everything's fine, there's no outrageous fraud. Well, I'm a police officer. When I investigate 4% of the crime at your house, that's no different than me walking in, grabbing one of those cookies, a little bottle of water, and leaving and saying, have a nice day. Because 4% is nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, you know, this is something where we have to atone for our actions. We intend to fight that. We intend to keep fighting for it. But more importantly, moving forward, we have to have some type of backstop that shows you have to have an ID to vote. There has to be accountability on those ballots that go in. We don't want them counted in the back room. We don't want, shades going down and all of a sudden the vote at 3 o'clock goes from, 40,000 up to 35,000 down. We want it done in Fort, and that's an issue. So the caucus provides that. You come to the caucus, all the people that are working that, they're going to be checking you in, looking through your ballot, putting your ballot in when you drop it in the box. It'll be counted in front of you, be tallied. Those will be then sent to us at the state, and then we move forward from all different counties, 17 of the counties. But the more important thing is, we're going to have it that we have accountability as Republicans. We're counting, and we're showing that we can fight this and make sure that everything's counted. And we have to keep going. This was brought up just a minute ago. The Republicans that are not you guys are engaged. Republicans are not engaged. We're going to try and reach them. But imagine how many different people, the voter rolls we've been fighting the whole time. We're cleaning the voter rolls, which is an article that I think was in the RJ today. We keep fighting to make sure the voter rolls are clean. We're purging a lot of people off these voter rolls. But it's an issue where we have to stay on top of it. Sir?
Why can't that be a voted position? A person in each county is not appointed, but a voted position.
That's Dan, we can do that right now. Right now, Clark County decides how they're going to do it. And, we had issues with the last one. He's in touch with CNN every day on issues. So we tried to hold him accountable. And, they're sitting throwing grenades right now. It should be, there's no accountability. For what took place there was an issue with Starbucks Anthony, who became a lieutenant governor. He was in a race. His race was so close they couldn't figure out how to fix this. He went before the county commission, him being the the secretary, what do they call him?
There's city council,
The recorders,
the registrar,
Joe Deloria, I apologize, but it's been a long day. The voter registers, when they went before that, moved before the county commission, says we have a problem, we have to study this. They held it for a day or two, came back and said, no, nothing to see here, we're going to certify the votes. Star Wars lost by 10 or 15 votes.
Yep.
So, hey, good for us, he's now our lieutenant governor. But the problem is, when they can cover it up, they're gonna cover it up. This is smash mouth football. They're prosecuting Trump for all these different things. They're prosecuting they stood with him for all different, they're making up items, making up issues. We gotta stand up fight it. But it starts right here with you, by getting out, talking to your neighbors, telling them, look, we're gonna caucus on February 8th. Come with us. It'll be fun. We'll be at the high school. You wanna some places make it a potluck. They bring cookies, they bring punch. They make an issue. You're sitting down with your neighbors. You're sitting with your neighbors, and you're deciding who the next president of the United States is gonna be coming out of the state of Nevada. That's what's important. Now, just this one.
Years ago, when we had caucus, I was on the check line. So by precincts, people came in, you checked their ID, you checked them off on a list. Now we have illegals that have that driver's permit, they can drive, and it looks like a driver's license. I'm nervous. If they have that and you're registered to vote, because we know DMV can register them. I hope we have a lot of training.
We're gonna have training, and that's a good issue. We're gonna show a picture of the voter ID, driver ID, and a picture of the driver's license and what to look for the people we're training. The other thing that comes up, so say you have a favorite candidate running for assembly or senate or whatever around here, and someone you feel very strongly about, city council, county commission, they could bring in a state-run election, they cannot wear their stuff. Well, if you're working my site, we've made it so you can wear, Devin Livziey for city council, or Jim Marchand for senate. He can have their volunteers, as long as they're working, they can wear their stuff to the site. So it's actually a two-pronged. We can have people come out and campaign and help. This is a community effort. This is where it takes place. It's your community. And this is where it's a good opportunity for everybody to get together. Sir?
So I have a neighbor and I'm not sure if he's registered to vote or not. So would he have to get registered before I could invite him to come
Yes,
participate
absolutely.
in the caucus? So I
Yes.
have to encourage him to do that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And it's pretty, we're up till, I think we're 30 days beforehand, so ours is February 8th, so if you get them right, toward the end of Christmas, a little eggnog, take them out, and sign this real quick.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Make sure you text the Republican box.
Do that. Yeah, he's a conservative guy.
Good. So get them out there and tell them support. Look, this is an issue where they're using chaos and confusion in the media to try to slam us and make fun of us. But this is something where the Democrats have said one thing with the caucus. Their caucus was a failure going back to Senator Reed, God rest his soul. He passed away. They had a terrible caucus back in 2020. Right there, Senator Reed says it will never happen again. And that's how we got the bill. That's how they came up with the bill at the legislature to change it. He saw it, he's like, well, no, we can't control it. Because the culinary, which I just told you about, everybody's going for Joe Biden. The culinary went for Bernie Sanders. So, culinary, yeah. That was amazing. So,
throwing chairs.
yeah, I've known Senator Reed since I was 5 years old. I was born and raised in Las Vegas. Devin was born and raised, down there. It's just small back in the day. And one thing you never did, you never crossed them. So they crossed them, and we're done with this. And they came in with a very strong, this is how we're going to do it. And we had some weak Republicans that didn't stand up for it at the legislature. But right now, when our governor last session, we worked with him, played with him, get us voter ID, get us paper ballots. One day, it's not a day where we take 3 weeks to get the results back. That's the other thing. The night of the caucus, you'll know who won. It might be 2 or 3 in the morning, but you'll know who won in the state of Nevada. In the primary, where Nikki Haley's running, you may not know before they get to South Carolina. Because they can do their whole thing, they go in the back, they count it, they count the ballots that have come in. It might be 2 or 3 weeks before we find out who won the presidential preference poll. state. So, you know, I'm not a stick, I love the old days.
You asked this question about.
And they always make fun of us, you know, like the old days, like the way it used to be. Guys, we're just bringing back honesty. We're bringing back accountability. Yes, ma'am.
Does it dilute our cause if we vote in the election to mess them up? I mean, is it better just to focus on what we want?
I'll give you a personal opinion. What they're looking for is numbers. Like you have these writers and these reporters saying, oh, there's going to be more people that vote this way and more people that won't vote for the caucus. You know, we want to push everybody out for the caucus. If you don't feel like voting in the primary, don't. I mean, that's one thing about it. It's a way to say, look, we've had enough of the games you played. You've hijacked the system. You've made it unfair for people that really want to do the right thing. You want to make it that you can have illegals vote. There's no ID. There's no accountability. You want to count the ballots long into the night. You want to be able to change the election results. Not saying they did, but you go to bed one night, and then when you wake up the next day, there's a 70,000 point swing. You know, it's an issue where looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And that's just my opinion. It doesn't matter. You get what you pay for. But I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where it starts. This is the big thing right now. We're pushing that we take care of our president.
Are other states doing it?
Other states, yes. Other states do caucuses. They've had it for years. New Hampshire was the first one, I think. They stick hard with the caucus, I believe. Iowa was a primary. There's a hybrid and some other ones, hybrid. They have kind of a caucus plus a primary. But, you know, if you look at other states, they don't have it where it takes 3 weeks to count the vote. Nevada was a laughing stock this last election. Sir?
How are we gonna deal with the snowbirds down here? You know, they're still voting up in Utah.
Well, I mean, if they're registered in Utah, they have to vote, they have to be registered in the state of Nevada.
They don't have the caucus, but they gotta, we just need votes. We need people and we need to get rid of that dishonest crap.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah,
And that's, I
it's
think
gonna be
that's
a
what
fight.
that helps us right here, what we're doing. You know, Nevada, when we went this way, we went this direction, the Republican National Committee, I'm part of the national, I'm one of the members that were in the National Committee. They applauded us for what we were doing. And that was represented by all the states. You know, they said, what you're doing, we appreciate what you're standing up for, we appreciate and why you're doing it, and we stand with you. So we had a vote by the executive committee of the RNC, and they condoned what we were doing, they stood behind what we were doing, and they're standing with us right now. There was no admission.
What time does the caucus process start?
It starts at 4 o'clock, we set up, Devin will go more into that, but it starts at 4 o'clock, so it's set up at 4, and then it'll go until 8. So it only lasts over the last several years, the last several times. It's basically about an hour. I mean, whichever gets in, gets registered. You fill out your stuff, you get your ID, get your ballot. Some people, like you mentioned, the snowbirds, everybody that come back to Nevada, that have gone away, they come in, they vote quick and leave. It's pretty good, though. It's an easy system. You're sitting down with your neighbors, you're discussing who you want for president, or you're willing to come in and just go, you know what, this has already been in my mind. Bang. You fill out your ballot, you stick around. We're pushing at some sites, you know, make it a potluck. Bring cookies, bring pop, hot dogs, have fun with it. This is yours. You belong in it, you own it. Anything else? I took up too much Devin's time, I apologize, Devin. Well, I appreciate it. Again, thank you very much. I'll be back out next month with Jim Marchand as well. But thank you very much. I appreciate taking the time.
My name is Devin Livziey. I'm the vice chair of the Clark County Republican Party. This is going to be a lot shorter than it normally is because the chairman went over a lot of it. So I'm going to do this the simplified way for you. Basically what you're going to do is we're going to a presidential barbecue without the barbecue. The doors, there will be people there at 4 o'clock doing the setup. At 5 o'clock, the doors are open. You're going to come in, go to where your specific precinct is, get your ballot, cast it, fold it up, put it in the box. Then after that, and that's essentially what you're going to do with the caucus. Now, some people don't have time to spend 2-3 hours there talking about politics, talking about whatever's going on. If you want to, at that point, you can leave. Once once you cast your ballot, you can leave. And this is after, at the door, you pull out your valid Nevada driver's license or passport that shows that you've been, that you're a resident of Nevada. Register as a Republican 30 days before the event. There will be a list there. The people at the door will be checking you in. If you're not on that list, or somebody's with you that's not on that list, you will not be allowed in there, period. I'll get to questions at the end.
You get
Okay,
this
sir?
stuff in the mail that questions whether you're right or wrong, how do you address it?
If you get stuff in the mail that questions whether you're right or wrong.
Clark County, I'll show it to you later then.
Okay. One thing I would suggest to everybody in this room do, if you go to the Clark County website, to the Register a Voter website, you can enter your name, and it'll tell you if you're a registered Republican, Democrat, nonpartisan, because there's a lot of, when you go to renew your driver's license, they are automatically re-registering you as a nonpartisan, legally.
And
So before you go, unless you just got because I just got my card in the mail again. Before you go to the website, the Clark County website, to the Register of Voters. Make sure you're registered the right thing. If you're not, you can change it right there. And the gentleman that had the question about his friend needs to register,
Yeah.
they can do that online.
So they can, yeah, but then they have to do it, how long before?
30 days.
30 days, okay, so,
You need to be registered Republican 30 days
So
before.
January
That
8th
doesn't
is
mean if it's January 8th, it's 30 days before the caucus. Don't wait till January
No,
8th to get
yeah,
your
no.
friends down there.
I'll talk to him the next day
You
or
know,
two.
we can all be here on Tuesday at 2 o'clock. We can drag our friends down to the office, the DMV or wherever, or on their laptop and get them registered tomorrow. So don't wait. But so you're gonna go in, you can cast your vote, then you can be done with it. You can go home, watch whatever's on TV, do whatever you have to do. Or you can stay. Now, when the chairman was talking about how the vote is validated, whoever the captain is at that precinct is going to open up that box, count those ballots. If you want to, you can stand right there and watch them. He's going to write down the totals, take it to whoever's in charge of the actual whole caucus site, report those totals to the person in the caucus site. As soon as they get all the precincts in, they're going to write down the totals there. They're going to make a phone call to wherever the county spot is where they're collecting all the votes, and you can sit there and watch them call in the votes. So you know exactly how many votes were called in or not. Then after that, you can have a precinct meeting at the site, which is what we ideally want to do. From the precinct meeting, if anybody wants to be a delegate to go to Milwaukee, you have to stay for the precinct meeting, and your precinct has to elect you as a delegate. As an elected delegate, then you have the opportunity to go to the county convention, where once again, you have to get elected as a delegate, so you can go to the national convention. Be aware, going to Milwaukee for the Republican National Convention is not going to be a free ride. There is going to be a cost involved. And believe me, they're going to do the same thing they do right in Las Vegas. Oh, we've got an extra 50,000 people coming into town today. That's $75 hotel rooms, $300 now. So be prepared for that. If you plan on being a delegate, be prepared to know that there is going to be a financial cost incurred by you. Even if I become a delegate and go to Milwaukee, I have to cover my own costs. We don't have the ability to do that. So just be prepared for that if that's what you want to do. And I hope all of you want to do that, because it's an incredible experience to go to a national convention. It's just something when they stand up and hold up the sign, Nevada's for whoever it happens to be. And I won't endorse anyone here, regardless of what my personal choice is. Sir?
Is there any buildings that are used for caucus in Mesquite, so that, Clark County, but that maybe they're persuasive and they're going to say, no, we're not going to let you come in here today?
Well, we've already paid for and gotten Virgin Valley High School. So the
There's
caucus
just one location for it.
for Mesquite.
Okay.
Moapa has its own place. And then down the road a little bit to Overton and Logandale, they have their own place. Mesquite will go to Virgin Valley High School.
The auditorium,
The gym.
the gym.
Is all of Mesquite in the same precinct?
No, there's 4 to 8 precincts out here.
No, well,
Something like that, I believe. But you'll walk into the gym and they'll go, we'll simplify it, because for some reason Nevada likes to label its precincts in the thousands. But if you guys are in precinct 1, you're in 2, you're in 3, you're in 4, you're gonna walk in, check in, and the person at the table is gonna go, you're in precinct 1, you go to that corner. You're in precinct 2, you go to that corner. You're in precinct 3, you're right here. So you're gonna be directed where to go, and that will all be involved in the training that will be upcoming. Okay? So there won't be any confusion as far as to where you go. Then you go there, you do your vote, you have your precinct meeting where you elect delegates, and basically the best way to put this is, your precinct meeting is you and your neighbors from your precinct sitting around at a table discussing, why do we want this person for president? Why do we want that person for president? Why do we want to elect Bob as our city councilman instead of Pete as our city councilman?
Because you don't want the other ones.
Equal, but for whatever the reason. But you're actually having a discussion with your neighbors about what impacts your community.
Is there gonna be caucus training here in Mesquite? or
There
do
will
you
be
have-
caucus training here in Mesquite,
Do you
yes.
know when?
I do not have that date set
Will
yet.
you let me know?
That is, the county's job is to secure the locations and then secure the volunteers for those locations. The state is more in charge of the caucus training itself. Yes.
So when you mentioned, do you want Bob as your city councilman, that's not on the,
That has nothing to do with the caucus. That is your precinct meeting after the caucus.
okay, so that part
That is just.
could be confusing
Yes,
though,
that
to
is
people
something
that
that,
aren't
yeah,
trying
but that's
to
if you
follow.
choose to be, well, it's just like if y'all come over to my house to play pinochle tonight. We're gonna play pinochle, we're gonna talk about playing pinochle problem. Eventually, the card game's gonna get to, how did the Packers beat Kansas City last night? Or how did Florida State get left out of the national championship when they're undefeated and they put in the television revenue people from the SEC? Personal bias, that's okay, I'm sorry. Sorry to beg you there, but, so regardless of what the reason why you're no, people aren't just gonna go to the caucus to talk about why this candidate's better than that candidate. It's also gonna get off to, I know personally, I usually start talking about food because it's my most favorite wonderful thing in the world. You're gonna have different things, and that's what the precinct meeting, which is after the caucus is over, after the votes are counted, that's what it's for, to discuss what matters in your neighborhood. It could just be that the guy across the street refuses to mow his lawn once a week. What are we gonna do about that, you know? So, that's what your precinct meeting is for, and to elect your delegate to go to the county convention. Essentially, that's it in a nutshell. The important thing is to remember, you need to be registered, or anyone you're bringing needs to be registered as a Republican 30 days beforehand, and check it online. Anybody who is deployed, I see, I'll get to you in a second.
Okay.
Anybody who is deployed military and their families, this is deployed military, can request a okay? That is only for military that is deployed. Okay? So, and they will be made aware of that if they haven't already been made aware by that. That is a mail campaign and things going on through the state. I don't have any control over that. Yes?
What about disabled or people that are in the hospital at the time?
At this time, we don't have the ability to, it just comes to this, it's this simple, we don't have the ability to reach everybody. This is once every 4 years, and I'm not trying to say that this in a bad way or a good way, but this is once in every 4 years. Perhaps, I know in my lifetime, this is probably the most important election that I've ever participated in. I can't say that for everybody in here because some folks here are Korea vets, Vietnam vets, things like that. So, but this is, in this century, this is the most important election that we're going to be participating in. We're doing everything we can to reach every Republican in the county, in the state, but Republican voters also have to meet us partway. You know?
So a handicapped member in my family that I care for cannot be there. Can I take her ID?
We do
and
not,
take
we are
it
not
to
doing
her?
proxies.
Or-
You know, it is unfortunate, it is just something that we can't do at this point. Okay? Now, like the chairman said, you can participate in the primary for president,
But it won't matter.
and you can also, correct, and also in the caucus. what I'm personally gonna do, and this is for my own well-being, is I am gonna participate in the primary, but I'm gonna send in my mail-in ballot. Because after the election is over, I wanna go back, because I can see if I voted or not. I wanna send in my mail-in ballot to see if it's actually counted in the primary. I'm gonna vote for none of the above. But it will just say, and when you do check that, it'll say your name, and it'll just say voted yes or no. And I'm just doing that personally because I want to see if the mail-in ballots are actually getting there for my own personal well-being. This is just me. But like they were saying, it is a numbers game for them. But let's face it, if none of the above wins the primary, that's going to kind of make them a laughing stock. And another thing I want to point out, the primary is costing you, the taxpayers of Nevada, approximately $5 million. The caucus is costing the citizens of Nevada $0. There is no fee incurred by the taxpayers in Nevada for the caucus. It is all paid by the fees that the candidates participating in the caucus pay.
So they pay for the actual ballots?
They pay, the candidates had to pay X amount, just like if they're in the primary, they had to pay the state X amount of dollars to be on the primary ticket. To be on the caucus ticket, they had to pay the state X amount of dollars to be on the caucus ticket. The money that was raised by the state GOP for the caucus is the money being used to fund the caucus. The taxes you pay on your house and your milk and your eggs is the money being used to pay for the primary that is legally non-binding as an election result. Yes?
How does the caucus play in with the electoral?
The caucus is the first step. The caucus selects delegates for the county. The county selects delegates for the state convention. The state convention selects delegates to send to the national convention. The national convention selects its nominee. Then, when the actual election happens in November for president, that's when the electoral college comes into play. So, when it comes to what the conventions play into as far as the delegates or the electoral college, that just gives the this is just the process to give the American people who they're going to vote for as a Republican candidate for president. And then the electoral college actually kicks in the national convention in November. And the primary they are a little confusing about, in June, we'll have everybody who's running for office, Republican, Democrat, the nonpartisan races, except for the presidential candidates. They are chosen before that. There won't be anything for the Democrats because they only have Joe Biden. But in November, you'll have Joe Biden, whoever the Republican candidate is, and I know there's 2 independents right now that are running right now that don't have primaries or caucuses to get on it. So that's who will be there for president. Yes.
So you're saying, to make sure I understood what you just said, when we vote in the caucus, then we're not going to have a presidential primary, it'll just be November?
Correct. The caucus is what decides, the caucus decides who Nevada wants it's going to support for president. And then all 50 of the states, plus Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and there's one more, and I apologize to them because I can't remember who it is, 1 or 2 more.
Is it
We'll
Guam?
all get together in Milwaukee, and that's when you see it on the TV, where the whole, like, the congregation from Nevada stands up, they've got the red, white, blue signs that are like that tall to say Nevada, and I'm assuming it'll be Chairman McDonald. The state of Nevada proudly endorses blank and blank for president. I can't officially endorse officially at this point, so that's what the caucus and the precinct meetings afterwards decide. And it's like I said, it's real quick. It can be real quick and easy for you, or if you want to stay involved, which the fact that you all are here kind of makes me think that you want to be involved. Stick around afterwards and see the process and do your precinct meeting. You know, be a precinct captain. Get out there as a precinct captain and start knocking on your neighbors' doors and saying, "Hey, you're a registered Republican. We need you right now. We need you to start knocking on your friends' doors and get the Republicans out to vote." we need you to talk to your friend who can't decide if he's a Republican or a Democrat. We need him to come out and vote for our Republican candidate so we don't have the same stuff going on that we have right now. Even talk to your Democratic friends. I mean, walk up to your Democratic friends. Are you happy with the way gas is right now, or the inflation rate, or how much more you're spending if you want to buy a house? Do you want to keep this? Vote for the people who are going to be fiscally responsible instead of the people that are just free spending. Just because you're a Democrat or Green or nonpartisan doesn't mean they're not happy. In November, we need to get all of them. It's even in the name, on the right side. You know? We're going to need everybody. And for anybody out there who says my vote doesn't count, off the record, we need to turn that off real quick. For lack of a better word, do what I've always said. Hit me in the back of my head if I'm being that stupid with a frying pan.
Yes.
To wake me up.
Yeah.
Okay? Anybody who says their vote doesn't count, move to Yugoslavia then. You know? Because your vote counts. We need everybody involved. This is not the time anybody can sit by idly and see what happens. Okay? Now, I've got business cards with me. I'm going to leave a stack of them back there on the back table for anybody who wants them. If you want to volunteer, if you want to work the caucus, my email is on that. Please email me and I will make sure you get on the list. If you have any questions, call me. You can ask the chairman on the way up here. I took 3 phone calls about the caucus just on the drive up here. My phone is on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I'm getting phone calls at all hours of the night. I will say that I slept through 2 of them last night at 11 and 12 o'clock, which I don't understand why you were calling me. I just got off work and I was trying to find out something about the caucus, and I'm like, 24-hour town, okay, whatever. But this morning when I woke up, I got the message and I called him back before 9 o'clock and woke him up. So please make sure you're talking to everybody. We need everybody to support us to make sure that we don't have what's going on right now. And now I'm off the caucus a little bit more onto my soapbox about why we don't want to keep paying this interest rate. But please, the important thing is get your friends and neighbors involved. Get them involved in making sure this country turns around and starts going in the right direction.
One more
Yes.
question. How will we find out the results after the caucus? Will we
You,
get an email
well,
or-
if you stay there for the whole precinct meeting, by the time you're I'm not sure exactly how, I'm sure the media's gonna have it, I'm sure it'll be on the 11 o'clock news, because when we're done with our caucus, the caucus is actually from 5 to 7, the precinct meeting is from 7 to 8. Okay? By the 11 o'clock news, we should, and I'm not gonna guarantee this, but we should have the winner at that time statewide. If not, you'll learn about it the next morning on the news or in the newspaper. But within 24 hours of the end of the caucus, you will know who the winner is and how many delegates each candidate got here. Now, Nevada's not a winner-take-all state, so be aware. If this half of the room votes for Donald Trump and this half of the room votes for DeSantis, which is a smaller amount of the room, a smaller amount of people, Donald Trump will get 65% of the delegates. Governor DeSantis will get 35% of the delegates. So it is not a winner-take-all. So however it's split is who gets the delegates. So if you have a particular candidate in mind that you want to win, make sure that you do your best to get the like-minded people that feel the same way you do there. Because the more votes one candidate gets, the more delegates they get. Because it will be split, it will be split up into each camp as far as how many votes they get. Yes, sir.
So I have to take you to task on your discussion of the evening news or corporate media. I hope nobody in this room is watching any type of corporate media, because they are not on our side.
Go to the Nevada GOP website. It'll be posted there. It'll be on the county website.
How about
on
Twitter?
The website and on Facebook.
How about Twitter?
Twitter will be the
I don't tweet.
Is it Nevada GOP on Twitter? Okay, I'll follow.
It'll be on that. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be on Instagram. Any place that you see either the CCRP logo or the Nevada State GOP logo, it's gotta be posted there. Yes, ma'am?
Are there placards or anything that we can put out that, with regards to the caucus, where it's at, yard sign?
Like yard signs, yeah.
There will be stuff coming soon as far as to let your neighbors and friends know.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what, that's above my pay grade, which I don't get paid, so I don't know what that means exactly. I guess the people that can actually file to get reimbursed would be above my pay grade, but, and I do this out of passion, this is such a passion for me. I mean, it'll literally overwhelm my life, which is why if anybody has someone that's, around 58, single, looking for a good, hardworking job. But yes, that information will all be coming. There will be flyers. We're working on a mailer right now. There will be the text messages going out, emails, tweets. All of that will be coming. Yes.
Can you remind us of the date of that actual
February.
primary? No.
Oh, the primary?
The one that doesn't matter?
The 6th of February.
So that's
That's
the
on
one that
Tuesday.
doesn't matter.
That's on
happens
Tuesday.
before
Yes.
ours.
Yes. Tuesday, watch Survivor.
There we go.
Tuesday, watch Survivor. Thursday, go vote. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much for having me out. And everyone try those little brownies out there. They've got a little bit, I think it's a peppermint taste, but it's a really good creamy middle. It's wonderful.